Fight!
So you see what you want to do.
If you've ever thought you were an operator because you watched YouTube content of somebody running around and dumping thousands of rounds on the flat range to convince you to buy a gun, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Guys, today we're going to be discussing how you can actually be an effective operator, how you can be an effective leader. A lot of these hype beast YouTube channels out here, not to get into all the YouTube drama, they're advertising a product, they're shooting the product, they're using the gear for about 15 minutes, and then they're giving you their opinion. Wouldn't it be nice to know how to actually be an effective tactical leader and how to actually apply that equipment? Today, that's what we're going to be discussing. If you want to support the free content that you're watching right now while you're going to the bathroom, well, consider becoming a member of the Patreon channel. What you guys don't realize is every time I put out a video, it takes time to film the video, edit the video, upload the video, and then reply sarcastically to your comments down below. So if you want to continue seeing content here on the channel, I need a couple of you guys to go over and become a member of the Patreon. I'm serious. It really does help out more than you know, and I do need some sort of financial, I guess, benefit of doing all this and giving up my time, right? Like the video. I look forward to reading your comments down below on how you can actually apply this operations order, this op order class in your Minecraft server. Thank you guys. I'll leave a link down below if you want to further support the channel monetarily. There will be the sponsor down in the description below. Okay, operations order. So I've seen good leaders and bad leaders throughout my time in the Army. As you guys know, 12 years, infantry, airborne, and mechanized, and drill sergeant time. That is a very brief description of who I am as a person. Does not define me, unlike a lot of your Navy SEAL YouTubers out here that let their previous career define them. I'm going to use my career for the positive and teach you how to do an operations order. Okay, there's 5 paragraphs of an op order, and there are things you can add to it. Okay, there are warnos, there are fragos, and there are 5 paragraphs of the op order. Today I'm going to give you a class on just the 5 paragraphs of the op order, some things that you need to include in each paragraph and things that you need to plan around. Now, very briefly, I'm going to tell you who should plan each paragraph, and then we will go back and I will go over each paragraph in depth. So if any of my long-term viewers can leave a timestamp comment down below of when I discuss which portion of the op order, that would be greatly helpful. And today we're going to discuss things that Lucas Botkin probably doesn't understand. Boom, roasted. Okay, so situation. The situation will be briefed by the platoon leader. Now, the platoon leader is going to be overall responsible for briefing the entire, and planning the entire operation. Okay, the rifle platoon leader. Don't tell them that, don't tell them this, but they are one of the most important people, one of the most important tactical level leaders on the battlefield. Okay, so the platoon leader is going to be overall responsible for everything in the operations order. However, they will brief situation, mission, and they will be a part of the execution. They can delegate portions of the execution paragraph later on. So the PL, platoon leader, or patrol leader, if you're a squad leader and you're going on a patrol, or if you're a company commander giving a larger op order to your entire company, then that would be you. So when I say the word patrol leader, platoon leader, squad leader, or company commander, they are all interchangeable today. So that patrol leader will brief the situation, the mission, and the execution. Now, they can delegate certain portions of the execution paragraph to squad leaders and the alpha team leader and a couple parts for the platoon sergeant, all right? Moving on from there, sustainment. The sustainment portion of the paragraph will certain people use a different word, support, whatever, for paragraph number 4, but I'm just going to call it sustainment to keep it simple for you guys. So sustainment, that is going to be briefed by either the first sergeant or platoon sergeant, the senior enlisted leader on the ground. Notice as I did not say sergeant major because sergeant major is no longer a tactical level leader. Okay, it will be the first sergeant or the platoon sergeant. For today's purposes, we will just assume that we are briefing this at the platoon level. Okay, and if you're a junior soldier or even a junior officer or even an NCO watching this video, these are all things, everything I covered today is going to be things that you actually need to know to be an effective tactical leader. So sustainment will be briefed by the platoon sergeant. Command and signal. If you're a good, paragraph number 5, command and signal. If you're a good leader, you should delegate down to your radio telephone operator, your RTO. You should delegate down to them that they brief the paragraph number 5, command and signal. Okay, from the top, here we go. All right, guys, this is going to be probably a longer video. So if you're enjoying this right now and you can't digest the entire video, that's okay. Save it for later or share it with a buddy. If you have a bad squad leader, if you're an NCO and you're watching this and your squad leader is very ineffective at planning, or you just have any leader that you work with, or maybe your soldiers need to watch this video, well, send it to them so that way they can further digest how to be, how to understand what's happening when the platoon leader is briefing the op order. Okay, situation, paragraph number 1. All right, so why are we even going to do an op order? Well, you can do an op order for any mission, and you should do an op order for pretty much every mission. As a drill sergeant, you can do an op order or at least a con-op brief, a concept of the operation brief, prior to executing any major training event. You as a civilian can apply this if you're going to do a road trip to another city and it's going to be a long trip, a long duration. Well, you can even apply an operations order for that trip. You can apply an op order for any mission in life that you want to be successful, right? So here we go. So paragraph number 1, situation. Situation paragraph is going to give you a lot of things, okay? It's going to give you the weather. It's going to give you the language that the enemy speaks and the local populace. It's going to tell you about the locals, if they are friendly, if they are against you, if they support your cause or they're against you. It's going to tell you about the enemy most likely course of action. It's going to tell you about the enemy's most deadly course of action. It's going to tell you about the enemy's, the most beneficial for you course of action, of how they will respond to whatever you're doing. So if your mission is a raid and your most deadly course of action is that they detect you on infill. All right, that's an example of an enemy's most deadly course of action. An enemy's most likely course of action is that during the raid, they will be woken up and they will man their security positions, and hopefully you have pre-planned things to go around that. So the reason why you're including the enemy most likely courses of action, okay, is so that you can plan around that and have a contingency plan for every part of that. You're also going to include friendly adjacent units. That's going to include your fires plan. So if you can, where you can engage, okay? Now for all my peers, because I am a sergeant first class, for all the first sergeants, sergeant majors, and platoon sergeants watching this, my fellow infantrymen, you're going to have to bear with me over explaining some portions of this because some of my audience will not understand it. It's no hate on them, but I'm going to have to over explain. So if you understand kind of what I'm saying, just skip ahead to the next thing that I'm discussing, right? So friendly adjacent units. You need to explain to your troopers where friendlies are, okay, and how they can engage with their weapon, whether it's weapons tight, weapons hold, weapons free. That is going to be when you discuss where your friendly adjacent units and supporting units, okay? So if you have a quick reaction force, then you might include that in this part and how long it takes for them to get to you, as well as if you have friendly supporting fires or if you have artillery, if you have mortars, if you have enemy aircraft, you can begin kind of giving the surface level, hey, just so everyone's tracking, we have a dog handler that's coming with us, etc., right? So friendly adjacent units and weapons control status, okay? I'm going to just go with red for the rest of this because the other one's dying. Weapons control status. Okay, so the platoon leader will open up with all the Joeys. They should all have pen and paper, and he will brief the situation paragraph as such. Hey, check it out, the weather, the high, the low, if it's going to rain, if it's going to snow. You're not going to get into any packing list yet. Language, the enemy speaks Spanish or whatever, the Russian, okay? The enemy speaks Russian, so we need to have a linguist with us, right? So that's going to tell the first sergeant, platoon sergeant, to go ahead and start resourcing those linguists, right? Locals is going to tell you if the locals hate you. Weapons control status, your weapons free, your weapons tight, weapons hold. Enemy most likely course of action, enemy most deadly course of action, enemy most I guess, beneficial. I'm forgetting the word. Comment down below what it is. And friendly adjacent units. That is going to be paragraph number 1 of the op order situation. The PO will brief that. Now, mission. A mission statement. Okay, it's going to be a mission statement. It would sound like this. I'll just give an example. 6 platoon Dragons attacks to seize objective drill pad no later than date, time, month, year in order to allow friendly freedom of maneuver on the objective in AO Academy. I say again, you're always going to repeat your mission statement. So 6 platoon Dragons attacks to seize objective drill pad no later than time, whatever no later than time, in order to allow friendly freedom of maneuver on the drill pad. Okay, and there you go. That is a good example. So you're going to give a no later than, a date time group, in order to do what, and what exactly has to happen. So attack to seize, defend to hold. In order to allow friendly freedom of maneuver, you're always going to brief 2 levels up. So if I'm a platoon leader, I'm going to brief my mission, the company mission, and the battalion mission. 2 levels up. The reason why you always brief 2 levels up is to give your little troopers, your little joeys, a general idea of what is happening and why, an overarching goal. What does the battalion commander want? What does the brigade commander want? Why are we doing the things that we're doing? You have to brief 2 levels up, okay? So I say again, I'll give you another example. Let's say Sky Shark Platoon Comanche Company. Sky Shark Platoon Comanche Company attacks to seize objective Rhino no later than, give a date time group, okay, date time month year, in order to allow friendly freedom of maneuver in the area. Okay, so no later than, date time group, in order to what they're doing, two levels up. All right, that's your mission statement. Every paratrooper should memorize the mission statement by heart. Every one of your joeys should know the mission statement. And you should quiz them. As an effective leader, you should quiz them. Execution. All right, execution is the actual plan. Okay, it's the actual plan. Now, for the execution paragraph, I recommend breaking it up into phases. Phase 1 is preparation. We're in phase 1, so typically you'll hear it like this. Phase 1 is preparation. I'm going to break the execution plan or execution paragraph down by phases. Phase 1 is what we're in right now, planning, the planning and preparation phase. Okay, and then phase 2 is movement to the objective. So if you're a paratrooper, you get into the aircraft, you'll brief the movement piece. You're briefing everything. You're briefing exactly how it will happen by the hour, by the day, etc. By the minute sometimes. You'll be briefing by the minute for each phase of the operation, okay? So it could be like this. Phase 1, preparation and rehearsals and planning. Phase 2, movement to the aircraft, staging on the airfield for the jump. Phase 3, flying to the objective. Phase 4, actually jumping on the objective out of the aircraft, landing. Phase 5, securing the Alpha on the ground, the assembly area. Phase 6, putting bullets in foreheads and actually securing the objective. Phase 7, reconsolidate and reorganize. Very important, if you're a commissioned officer, non-commissioned officer, or a junior enlisted soldier watching this, it is very important for you to enable your subordinate leaders, your alpha team leader in first squad, your first squad leader, and your weapons squad leader, whoever you want, whoever you think can effectively brief a portion of the phase. If you're in phase 3 or 4 and there's a building that's going to be cleared, you can allow that tactical level leader, that NCO, or that corporal, that sergeant, you can allow that young leader to get a good rep in at briefing. Okay, at this time, I'm going to be securing this building, objective Rhino. And on this objective, I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z, down to the letter, down to the name. Every single person should know at this moment in time, if I am still alive, I will be holding my rifle on a door on objective Rhino. It should be down to that level of detail. Now, keep it simple. Don't overplan. Let it have wiggle room, but people should have an ass-to-seat plan of where they're riding, etc. They know exactly what they're doing for the actual execution portion. You will also brief fires and mortars, fires plan, mortars plan, and quick reaction force, as well as, I'm forgetting one, vehicle, well, not necessarily vehicle. You'll brief all the things for execution for adjoining units and supporting units of things that they need to help you with. That will happen in execution. Moving on to sustainment. Sustainment. This is going to be the platoon sergeant or the first sergeant's bread and butter. You're going to brief packing list. Exactly what will be brought on the mission. You will brief food, class 1. Okay, you're briefing all the classes of supply. If you're a non-commissioned officer, you should have a laminated cheat sheet in your pocket in the field so you can fill out the classes of supply line by line, because every class is different. Okay, so you'll brief class 1, food and water. Right, you'll brief class 5, ammunition, everything, fuel. You'll brief every single thing. Beans, bullets, band-aids. You will brief CCPs, okay, casualty collection points. You will brief medevac plans, a medical evacuation plan. Everything that has to do with how long you can sustain the fight for people. You can brief religious services. You can brief mail, okay, mail, religious services, food, water, fuel plan. You can brief ammunition plan, how much ammo they're carrying, how much weight they should be carrying, if they're wearing a patrol cap, if they're wearing an ACH, a helmet, if they're wearing a flick, a chest rig, or if they're wearing body armor. You will brief everything down to the letter. As a platoon sergeant, a good way to find out if you're a good leader is how good did you plan for the mission. You need to know the area you're going into. You need to even think about camouflage. Hey, should we have overwhites if we're going into the Arctic? Should we have overwhites? Should we turn our uniforms inside out in this certain area? Crazy stuff, right? Or switch uniform patterns completely. You need to know exactly what your troopers are carrying, and you should brief it down to the line, okay? Down to the freaking letter. If you are an incompetent platoon sergeant, it is my pet peeve. So NCOs, if you watch this, or if you're a civilian watching this, and you're the platoon sergeant, you need to freaking get your head out of your fourth point of contact, and you need to actually make a good sustainment paragraph. I hate it when I hear leaders say, oh, I just have sustainment, so I'm going to wing it. I hate you, and I hate that. Don't do it. Okay, so that is the sustainment paragraph. Command and signal. It's going to be your challenge and password. Okay, so if you've seen Band of Brothers, Flash, Lightning, they're going to have the challenge and password, the running password, the number combination, and the signal that they're actually going to be operating on in the field for radio frequencies, as well as a, not a hierarchy. What am I, the freaking, if it's the, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the word. If the PL dies, who takes command? If the platoon sergeant dies, who takes command, okay? That is going to go in the command and signal. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but the chain of command. You're going to brief the chain of command. So it'll be whoever's in control. The platoon leader's in command. If the platoon leader dies, it may go to the platoon sergeant. It may not always go to the platoon sergeant. It sometimes can go to the assault squad leader, because sometimes the assault squad leader will be positioned in an area where they are going to be better off being number 2 in command for a certain phase of the operation. And then later on, the platoon sergeant will assume command if the PL dies. So you'll brief PL, platoon sergeant, then weapon squad leader, then second squad leader, then first squad leader, then second squad alpha team leader, or whatever. You'll brief the entire succession. There it is. Succession of command. You'll brief the entire succession of command. Okay? So you'll brief the succession of command in the 5th paragraph. Your RTO will brief it. You'll brief the challenge and password, the number combination, the running password, the frequencies that you will be operating on, the PACE plan, primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency plan for portions of the operation, methods and marking. You'll even, you know how the Russians all had the Z on all their vehicles? Well, that was some RTO, okay, probably a general in this case, but some general for their level. Well, I guess it would have been MMDP, military decision-making process, but you get the point. If you're going to have tape around the arm or whatever to mark friendlies, that's going to get briefed in command and signal, okay? All right, guys, I've talked to you guys for about 20 minutes now. I've taught you about operations order. Now, a lot of my buddies are officers now. Okay, they're either commissioned officers or they're senior NCOs, first sergeants, sergeant majors, etc. Right? The sergeant majors watching this know this, but this is what I worry about. Some of the staff sergeants and sergeants out there don't know this at all because 2020 and 2021, some stuff that happened in those years with the Great Plague that wasn't a real plague. A lot of leaders are not developed. They're not developed enough. Okay, so if you're a junior leader or a civilian, whoever that's watching this, okay, even, pro 2A cop, pro freedom cop, whoever's watching this video, you need to know how to make an operations order. Don't fall for all the YouTube hype of all these, fake YouTubers out here that are doing super, whatever on the flat range with their shot timer. That's like less than 1% of the fight. What I just told you today will lead you to be a better operator if you can understand what's happening on the board behind me. Thank you for supporting this channel. Let me know what you want to see next. I think I'm going to do a Battle Drill 6 class again on how to enter and clear a room and enter and clear a building, a refresher on enter and clear a trench, and then a linear ambush and a near ambush. I think those are the next tactical videos that I'm going to post on the channel. Guys, if you got this far, what emoji should you put? Leave a notebook emoji, because if you're this far in the video, that means you've been taking notes. You're a true fan of the channel, so leave a notebook emoji down below. Thank you for always keeping it real in the comments. Be cool with each other. Let me know if this video actually helps you out. Everything I covered today can be referenced in this battle area right here. Infantry, rifle, platoon, and squad, okay? It's all public knowledge, okay? Infantry, rifle, platoon, and squad, January 2024. Shout out to my first sergeant. He's never going to see this, but thanks for giving me a hard copy. That's freaking awesome, okay? So you can reference it in this. You can reference it in the Ranger Handbook, and it's all referenceable online as well. But as leaders, we need to know this to the T. Thanks for being here, guys, and until next time, it's going to be Trench Grenade, your average airborne infantry enjoyer that your mom said that we have at home, signing out. Cheers.
Not taking precision shots. It's a combat platform. It's made for CQB. That's what we're running and gunning for.